Good morning. Hello, everybody. Can you say hi, Billy? Billy has not been feeling very well lately. Just in the last couple of days, she has not been eating much. Billy, come on, come say hi. Come on, come say hi, my sweet girl. Oh. So, if she doesn't feel better by the end of today, we're going to take her into the doctor's tomorrow to the vet because she is such an important part of our family and I love her so much. And I don't like when she's not feeling good, but she's just been kind of down. She hasn't vomited or had any stomach issues, but she just has not been eating. And so I'm a little bit, I'm extremely worried about her actually. I don't like it at all. So we'll get her figured out and I'll keep you posted. Oh, I don't know if my mic was working. Hopefully that didn't sound terrible. I didn't do anything to my hair today. I have these things on my fingers and they stick to my hair and make it really hard to work with my hair. So I got out of the shower and combed it. My baby boy. This is Bennett. This mic isn't staying. Let me see if I can. And he always wants to be loved on. He said to little sweetie pie. He's an anxious little ball of nerves most of the time. He's a rescue. Today is episode 22. Huh, Bennett? Are you going to be my main co-host today? You're funny. It's May 8th today. I'm terrible with dates normally, but I know that tomorrow is my little boy, my baby's birthday. He's going to turn 11. So we're going to have a little party with the family. Play a couple little games, eat some lasagna. So I'm sure you're wondering what the heck this is. But on Sunday, I started my moon cycle, so I was extremely emotional in general, but I was just feeling like such a freaking failure with this picking. I was so frustrated and just embarrassed and down on myself and feeling like the biggest loser because I just can't seem to figure out how to keep myself from this compulsive picking at my skin. And it's been my whole life and I'm just freaking tired of it. And so I got on Amazon and for the first time ever, I just searched dermatillomania on Amazon. And actually, I think these finger things came up, but I already had this idea because AJ has these at work. He works in restaurants and they use these finger cots. They look like finger condoms to me. Look, I bought a big whole bag of them and they come like this. They literally look like a condom. And then you roll it up your finger. Does that look familiar? So they have really been making me feel hopeful. I know that sounds probably so pathetic, but I need a little bit of help right now. And this is fugly, but helpful. And one other thing that came up when I searched dermatillomania on Amazon were these finger fidget thingies. They're just like rings. They're like made out of wire. And I put them on my fingers like this. And so like when AJ and I are watching shows or we're just sitting around, these have actually been really helpful because instead of picking at the skin around my fingers, I am fidgeting with these. I'm just like rolling it up and down my fingers and it actually feels like a really good like finger massage. It's really satisfying. I already broke one of them. They came with 10. They were only $4.99 on Amazon. And so these two things have really been helping me. And it feels literally so pathetic. But AJ was so sweet with me on Sunday as I was bawling my eyes out, feeling like the biggest loser with this issue. He was just reminding me of everything I have overcome in my life. I have healed so much and I need to just focus on that. I have really come a long way with a lot of things, including a disease that has no cure, multiple sclerosis. I feel like I'm totally cured of multiple sclerosis. And it got pretty bad there for a while. I was really going downhill with MS for a long time. And last night I actually had a dream that my mouth stopped working and it was just like stuck like that. And I could not move it up or down or get any words out except for the words, I have MS. And it was such a freaking terrifying dream. And that actually did happen to me when I did have MS. I had 4 small children with me, and we were walking into Target. And I had all 4 children like holding hands with me and each other walking into Target. And my brain stopped telling my mouth how to form words. And so I was like mute. And it only lasted about 45 seconds, but it was terrifying because we were in a busy parking lot and I could not speak. I could not figure out how to get words out of my mouth out of the blue. And it was so terrifying. That sucked and it really scared me. There were plenty of times where I literally fell down the stairs because my balance was so bad. So when I would have my babies, I would go down the stairs on my butt holding my baby because I was so terrified of dropping my baby. I was stuck in bed, crippled by pain so many times. Fatigue was one of the worst symptoms. It made me feel so bad about myself that I could literally not get up to do anything. Doing a small load of dishes would completely exhaust me and wipe me out for the rest of the day. So I am so thankful for all that I have overcome. And in addition to physical ailments, I've also cured myself of insomnia, which is to me a complete miracle. My little baby boy, my first child, he stopped breathing at 6 weeks old. And that was when I was 19 years old. And since that time, that was 20 years ago, I have had a terrible time sleeping, would get up like 5 to 6 to 7 times a night and struggled to go back to sleep every time I would wake up. And now I am sleeping through the night most nights, which is so awesome. And recently, I've even started dreaming, like having really vivid, sometimes even lucid dreams, which I have not had since I can even remember. I've had very sporadic dreams, like really, really far apart from each other and very rarely could remember them. And now I am feeling like I am actually exploring other realities in my dreams, learning so much in my dreams. So it's a really interesting time, but still I have always been a bit of a perfectionist. And so the fact that I'm still picking at my fingers, picking at the skin on my body, not allowing myself to fully heal is very frustrating, but it does feel like kind of one of the last parts of me feeling really healed from the trauma of my past. I really feel like this is something that only affects me. And so I've allowed it to be part of my life for a lot longer than a lot of the other things. And now I am really trying to love myself 100%. And another idea I had is a little bit more self-care. And I thought maybe if I'm, trimming my nails regularly, filing them, buffing them. I want natural nails, but I've always admired people who have really beautiful natural nails, and I've never really had that. They're always just kind of grungy and uneven. I've never really cared for my nails. Self-care has been a struggle for me to learn. And so I bought this $7 manicure kit on Amazon as well. And I have yet to use it, but I plan on it because I do think that when my nails look nice and I feel like I'm caring for myself and using my energy in a way that is loving toward myself, it will help me remember to keep the skin around my nails from being all yucky as well. So I'm hoping that these 3 things are helpful. I have more hope than I have had in a long time with this issue. So I will keep you posted, but these finger caught things, literally, I cannot pick at my skin. So if I'm wearing them, it's really helpful. And really, I just need like 4 or 5 good days of not picking to let all of these sores heal. And then I just got to be able to keep it going. So I'm really hopeful. And also, I've been doing something that Jesus Kate has been kind of guiding me with, and that is humming, which sounds probably weird, but Jesus Kate was giving me the impressions as I was meditating in bed the other day that humming, if I'm humming, I'm actually not really thinking about a lot of other things. If my mind is occupied in humming, I am calmer in my mind, calmer in my body. And so I've just been, yesterday I had my son Anthony's flag football practice. I was sitting there by myself watching the practice, and I found myself starting to pick because I didn't want to wear these in public. So I put my hands gently on my lap and I started humming and focusing on humming just a random melody, just random notes. I can't sing, but it literally helped me through the entire practice not to pick at my fingers. So, Jesus Kate, thank you so much for that little guidance too. That's been really helpful. So I'm really hopeful I can figure this out. I saw a TikTok recently about an analogy that really resonated with me about, God consciousness and the spirit and the soul and the body, and how all of those differentiate from each other and how they relate to each other. And so I kind of wanted to share that with you. Don't get caught up in like the semantics of everything. It's just an analogy, but it was really helpful for me because Jesus Kate has shown me kind of how we exist as a piece of God, that we cannot separate ourselves from God, but that separation is an illusion, and there is purpose in the illusion because it helps for our expansion and our growth to forget our divine being, our divine worth, to come down here into these new experiences and to rediscover ourselves and to expand ourselves in new ways. But this analogy really kind of helped me to put the pieces together verbally so that I can share it with you. So think about the ocean as God or divine universal consciousness or source, whatever you want to call God or the universe. Think of that as the ocean. Now, if we take a cup and we scoop up some ocean water, that water in the cup is like the spirit. So this God energy, this big ocean of water, separates itself from the God energy and becomes a unique part of the God energy, especially more unique. So that water in the cup would be the spirit. And then take some dye, say take some purple dye, and you put that in the cup of water and you mix it around, and that uniqueness and personification, or make whatever makes that water unique, the color that separates it from the rest of the cups of water, that is the soul. It's what makes the spirit unique and different from all of the other spirit energies. And the container that the spirit and the soul are in is the cup, and that is the body. So we have the ocean that is God, and if you scoop up a cup of water from the ocean, that water is the spirit. Then when we add some uniqueness and personality, that with the color, that is the soul. That's what makes all of these different unique creations. I've seen so many beautiful, unique, different souls in the spirit realm that are so beautiful, and they are made of God energy, just like us. And then that container, that cup, that really kind of separates us or creates this illusion of separateness is the body. And so many times we think of ourselves as just our body, and or just a soul even, and it's an illusion. We are the entire ocean that has chosen to come into this existence as a unique being, to experience ourselves in a new way as this God energy. And we are not separated from it. It just is part of the purpose of this unique experience. There's the terms like simulation theory and the matrix. And for me, Yes, I think that in a lot of ways, this is a simulation, but the words simulation and matrix are a little bit too confining to the ways that we think about a simulation, because this is a divine creation made of light. We are like a projection, a light projection of divine creation, and this creation has purpose and it has meaning, and we get to take all of what we learn in these existences. And I believe that we are living many existences, parallel lives, all at once. Jesus Kate has literally shown me myself in different areas. One was I was a slave child. And she said, this is not a past life. This is a parallel life. You are a slave in another existence being abused by your slave master. She showed me another one that was not on this earth, where I am on another plane, planet completely, where all the hues are of like red. Everything had red hues, and all of the people were much smaller than they are here. And I'm actually a very unhappy soul on that plane. I'm very unhappy with the way things are being run in that world. I'm very frustrated with it. And all of these things are connected. So a lot of times when I'm feeling a lot of frustration or sadness and I don't even know where it's coming from, Jesus Kate has shown me that there are other lives I'm living, and sometimes, it's maybe some sadness or frustration from a different life I'm experiencing bleeding into this life. And she tells me, whatever life that you are focused on right now, just focus on doing your very best here, and that will improve in all of your lives parallel that you are living. It's all connected. And I can't fully understand it completely, but she's shown me enough. And so much of it is difficult for me to put into words, but she's shown me enough that I just have this beautiful motivation to stay present and grounded and do my very best in this life that I am focused on here, and that will help that girl on that red planet where she is really struggling, and that will help bring comfort to this slave girl who is living, a really difficult existence. There are also many layers to this life that I'm living. There are less evolved layers and more evolved layers. It's like every existence is an onion, and we are living in lots of different layers of it. And the dream space can be a time where we get to go and explore other situations we find ourselves in. Sometimes dreams are just kind of like a garbage disposal, where our subconscious is able to just dump a lot of the stuff, fears, anxieties, even little things that don't really matter. Just our subconscious wants to just get rid of them in the dream space. But other times I found that in my dreams, I am actually getting glimpses of other lives that I am living. So it's all very interesting. And in my work as a hypnotherapist, which is something I have not talked a lot about because I haven't done any sessions since we had a great big loss in our family 7 months ago. So it's been something I've put on hold, but I am a certified QHHT hypnotherapist, and I have had some amazing sessions with people where they are able to explore their past lives, which I think oftentimes are parallel lives. We call them past life regressions. But I think time does not exist how we think it does. And our human brains just can't even quite comprehend how time actually works. But our time and space is very specific to this earth realm, the way that we experience it in this 3D form. Anyway, so hypnotherapy can be one way that you can go into your parallel or past lives and get insight and learning. And one of the most important parts of QHHT sessions, quantum healing hypnosis technique is what that stands for, is to speak with your higher self or your subconscious. And so the purpose of going into these past and parallel lives is actually just to get the person deeper and deeper into a state of hypnosis so that we actually can access your higher self and work in all kinds of ways with your higher self. We can ask the higher self to heal specific ailments in the body. We can ask the higher self for advice on difficult situations in your life. It has been such a cool experience for me to learn how to use hypnotherapy to really aid in healing people, especially when they are scared of the plant medicine route. It can be an alternative to that, or it can be a really good partnership with the plant medicine work that I do. So that is exciting. What else? Oh, one thing that I have had an impression to share, which I don't want to go into too much personal history, but AJ and I were watching a reality show because we love reality shows. We love to watch Married at First Sight, and we pause it 10 times throughout the show and we discuss the people. And I don't know, it's just something that we connect with each other on, and it's silly, but we love it. And one of the episodes, this girl, she got married at first sight, where you literally meet the person you're marrying right at the altar for the first time. And come to find out, she has all of these secrets, and she gets in trouble for she gets literally arrested after she gets married for charges of stalking and credit card fraud and all of this stuff. And it triggered me in a way I didn't expect, because secrets are something that I have struggled with my whole life until the last few years, with the healing and awakening that I have experienced. From the time I was very little, and trigger warning for childhood sexual trauma. I won't go into a lot of detail, but if that is something sensitive to you, maybe skip over this part. But when I was about 5 years old, I experienced being molested by a girl that was my age, who was actually being molested by her brothers and I think her father. I'm not sure, but that's what I have learned later after, trying to address this issue in my life. Anyway, it was something that when it was found by one of my parents, they saw it, and it was my mom. She just freaked out a little bit and just screamed and yelled at me. And I was a very, very sensitive little girl. And I felt so ashamed and so embarrassed, because we were literally caught in the act, and I didn't understand at the time, but this was literally something happening to me. She was doing things to me, and I was just going along with it, and I felt so ashamed and could not understand why I would have ever gone along with something like that. So after I was yelled at for that, it was never, ever, ever mentioned again. And I carried that from the time I was 5 years old till the time I was 16 years old. Every single day of my life, I felt deeply ashamed and hated myself for doing something like that, especially because it was a girl and I was in the Mormon religion, and that, same sex, everything was considered to be evil. And I could not understand why I would do that. And so I shamed myself every single day of my life. I suffered so much depression because of that one situation when I was a tiny child. I didn't know that those kinds of things happened quite often between children, in general, exploring and being curious. And I literally thought I was the only person on the planet that had ever done anything like that. And I absolutely hated myself for it. And I remember lying in bed many, 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 many days, most days before I had to get up for school or whatever, and feeling so bad about myself and literally hating myself and not understanding why in the world I would do something like that. Well, then fast forward to hitting puberty, 13, 14 years old, I started having very real attraction toward girls. And when I was, 15 and 16, like my sophomore year in high school, I had huge crushes on girls. And there was one girl in my drama class that was, you know, she said she was like experimenting with bisexuality or whatever. And I had a huge crush on her. And we would like tickle each other's backs in drama class. And I loved it so much, more than I could even explain. It was like I so looked forward to that time. And then I would absolutely shame myself and hate myself and not understand why I would do something like that. And I really blamed it on this situation that happened to me when I was 5 years old, and thought I was messed up because I was doing that. And I just, oh my God, it was so terrible. I was trapped inside of my sexuality, and it had to remain a secret because of my religion, because of the homophobia in my home and in my family, because of so many things that made me absolutely terrified to just be open and to explore that part of myself. And then I married a man, and I had 4 children. And in that marriage, I could not come clean about my sexuality. I continued to be so terrified and so ashamed of myself and deeply depressed because I had not faced a very fundamental part of myself. And then when I divorced, I met AJ, and I still did not confront my sexuality, even though by then I had left the Mormon church. I was still absolutely terrified and thought that there was something wrong with me because of this childhood situation that I still had so much shame about. So it's been a journey for me to really try to love myself and embrace all of who I am. And I ended up having to separate, or at least choosing to separate from AJ for 2 years, and dated women during that time, and did a lot of dysfunctional and unhealthy things during that time, that I felt so much shame about and so much guilt about, and continued to hide things. And in this awakening journey, on June 7th of 2020, I was completely taken by surprise with a series of visions that came from the trees that showed me that there would be this mass awakening, that I would be a part of this awakening process for myself and my family, and that there would be many, many changes taking place in my life. And by this time, AJ and I were back together after being separated. And I was forced, when this awakening started happening, to confront all of these issues inside of me. And it has been a very treacherous journey for me to face 100% of my secrets and my hiding and my self-loathing and my shame, and to really learn how to love myself. And as I have learned throughout these last almost 4 years, to truly accept myself as I am, love myself as I am, my body has healed. My neck, my shoulders, my back, my hips have always been in excruciating pain since having children 20 years ago for the first time, and then being diagnosed with MS. I was legitimately crippled by pain many, many days of my life. And I have worked so hard to face myself in the most real and raw way, and to apologize to everyone that I have hurt along the way, and to really learn to love myself has healed my body completely. And this is kind of the last part of that, is this one little area on my lower back that is getting better by the day. I swear, it's so awesome. I'm so grateful. And then also this picking issue that I have. So if you are struggling with any part of yourself that you feel ashamed of, or disappointed in yourself, or terrified to confront, just know that you are not alone, that you can do it, that there is healing, true healing on the other side of really facing ourselves, getting quiet with ourselves, asking ourselves what we actually need, going to ourselves as a small child like I have done, working with a picture of us as a small child and learning to love that small child and give that child what they need. You know, I have done meditations where I've just gone into my inner self and asked my younger self, what do you need? One of those sessions, this little girl told me that what she wanted was to go to an ice cream store and get 2 different kinds of ice cream and put it in 2 different cups or cones, 2 different cones, because she didn't want to mix the flavors, but she really wanted 2 different kinds. That seemed like such a silly request, but in my imagination, I took her to the ice cream store. I let her pick whatever kinds she wanted. And she's always, when I go and spend time with her in my meditations, she's so bright-eyed and so cute and so spunky. And she just loved having ice cream with me. And those are the kinds of things that can literally heal ourselves as an inner child. We all have an inner child that is hurting. None of us, I literally don't believe that any of us got everything we needed from our parents, from society. We've all been hurt as little children, and a lot of that, you know, some more severely than others. But if you were ever made to feel not good enough, if you were ever made to feel like you were annoying or too loud or too obnoxious or not okay with your sexuality or not okay with the way that your hair color is or whatever it is, we can go back and we can ask our little child self, because that little child self is still in us. What do you need? And we can meet those needs. My husband, when I told him about that meditation, he said, I want to take you to an ice cream shop and I want to get you 2 different kinds of ice cream and let you eat those 2 kinds of ice cream in separate cones. My husband is my best friend, my rock. He helps me heal so much. And I have put him through so much in this healing journey. And I'm so grateful for his unconditional love that he is still here by my side. He's the most patient, beautiful, wonderful human, and I am beyond lucky to have him as my partner. Anyway, I think that's all I'm going to share today. It's been a lot. I am so grateful for this healing work that I have been doing for the last 4 years. I'm so grateful for our earth medicines that have helped me to find myself and heal myself and get clarity and to experience myself as this divine being that we all are. We are all children of God or extensions of universal consciousness, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same. And we need to really, the answer to literally everything is to learn to love ourselves, accept ourselves exactly as we are. And as we accept ourselves exactly as we are, we just automatically want to be our best, most healthy, happy selves. I've said it before, but I try and focus on the 3 H's. I want to be the healthiest, happiest, and most helpful I can be in this life. And I really, truly focus on those things a lot. How can I be my happiest, healthiest, and most helpful self today? And I would challenge you to do the same, to look at how you can be happier, how you can be healthier, how you can be a little more helpful, even to yourself right now. And that's all I've got for today. I love you all. Thank you for being here with me. I'll keep you posted on my sweet Billy and how she's doing. And I will see you all next time. Namaste.